Preamble, the Bill of Rights, the United States of America. The conventions of a number of the states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and as extending the ground of the public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of this institution.
Now, in the next few days, we're going to be talking an awful lot about the right to keep and bear arms, the second article in amendment to the Constitution for the United States of America, which most people don't even know, along with the other 9 articles in amendment, making up the 10, or the first 10 articles in amendment, known as the Bill of Rights, are actually a part and parcel of the Constitution for the United States of America. They're not something that was tacked on later. The Constitution could not and would not be adopted by the states, the first 13 states, unless they were added as an integral part of the Constitution. Most Americans don't even know that the Bill of Rights has a preamble, and the preamble spells out exactly why those 10 articles in amendment were added to the Constitution to be a part of the Constitution, because most people who print these things omit it, and they do that on purpose, along with changing the capitalization of words and inserting or taking out punctuation, which should be a criminal act because they're screwing with the law. Punctuation changed the meaning of the law, and so does the presence or absence of a capital letter at the beginning of a word. Those of you who don't really understand the law, you're not going to understand what I just said, but maybe someday you'll get into it and start becoming a real people, and when you do, you'll find out what I'm talking about there. Now, the right to keep and bear arms, I don't care which side of this issue you claim to be on. When you get into the law, there isn't a side of the issue. Intent is everything in the law. And when you read the purpose and intent of the Founding Fathers, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one conclusion that can be reached. They didn't keep it any secret. They wrote extensively about the second article and amendment, the second article of the Bill of Rights. And so it's very easy to discover what the intent was when the law was written. And whatever the intent was, is, and always will be, the law. And so you can't come up, 200 years later and say that the law means something else against the intent of the people who actually wrote and passed the law. In this case, the supreme law, the law of laws, it is the United States government. And anything that goes against it is not. It's subversive, as a matter of fact. Isn't it incredible how things get twisted? Wrong becomes right and right becomes wrong over the years. And it's all done with propaganda. If you tell people a big enough lie, often enough, they come to believe it. Because most people never, ever, ever check into anything to discover for themselves what's right and what's wrong. If they didn't learn it in school, by the time they get out of school, whatever their level of schooling was, then they're not going to go back and touch it again for the most part. Now, there are some people who certainly don't fit that mold, but there are an awful lot of people who do. So, what I want to do, folks, is just take you through some opinions of some other people. And right off the bat, I want to start with the United States Senate's report on the right to keep and bear arms. Simply because if you have it right straight from the horse's mouth, right off the bat, then it'll be a lot easier for you to understand what's going to come later. This is entitled The Right to Keep and Bear Arms, a report of the Subcommittee on the Constitution of the Committee on the Judiciary, United States Senate, 97th Congress, Second Session, February 1982. It was printed for the use of the Committee on the Judiciary, United States Government Printing Office, 88-618, Washington, 1982. It's for sale by the Superintendent of Documents, United States Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C., 20402, so there's no excuse why you can't get your own copy and read it. It also can be accessed through many different databases on the Internet. The Committee on the Judiciary, at the time this report was written, was made up of Strom Thurmond, South Carolina, Chairman, Charles M.C.C. Mathias, Jr., Maryland, Paul Laxalt, Nevada, Orrin G. Hatch of Utah, Robert Dole, Kansas, Alan K. Simpson, Wyoming, John P. East of North Carolina, Charles E. Grassley of Iowa, Jeremiah Denton of Alabama, Arlen Specter of Pennsylvania, Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of Delaware, Edward M. Kennedy of Massachusetts, Robert C. Byrd, West Virginia, Howard M. Metzenbaum, Ohio, Dennis D. Concini, Arizona, Patrick J. Leahy, Vermont, Max Baucus, Montana, and Howell Heflin of Alabama, and Vinton Devane Lead was the chief counsel. Quentin Crommelin Jr. was the staff director. The Subcommittee on the Constitution was Orrin G. Hatch, Utah Chairman, Strom Thurmond, South Carolina, Charles E. Grassley, Iowa, Dennis D. Concini, Arizona, Patrick J. Leahy, Vermont, Stephen J. Markman, Chief Counsel and Staff Director, Randall Rader, General Counsel, Peter E. Ormsby, Counsel, Robert Fiedler, Minority Counsel. And I'm going to skip the table of contents and go right to the preface and begin here. And if I don't finish today, we'll continue to mark, as all this week is Right to Keep and Bear Arms Week. And you're going to want to take notes. You should have already copied down the source of this report so that you can get your own copy. You need ammunition to fight these liars out there who are trying to take your rights away from you. There's no people in the history of the world who have ever been disarmed, who have not shortly thereafter been enslaved or murdered. Think about that. And if you don't believe it, start your own little jaunt into history, and you will discover, ladies and gentlemen, that what I just told you is absolutely true. I quote from the report: "To preserve liberty, it is essential that the whole body of the people always possess arms and be taught alike, especially when young, how to use them." End quote. Richard Henry Lee, Virginia delegate to the Continental Congress, initiator of the Declaration of Independence, and member of the First Senate which passed the Bill of Rights. Quote, "The great object is that every man be armed. Everyone who is able may have a gun." End quote. Patrick Henry in the Virginia Convention on the Ratification of the Constitution. Quote, "The advantage of being armed the Americans possess over the people of all other nations, notwithstanding the military establishments in the several kingdoms of Europe, which are carried as far as the public resources will bear, the governments are afraid to trust the people with arms." End quote. James Madison, author of the Bill of Rights, in his Federalist Paper number 26, quote, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." End quote.
From the Constitution of the United States of America, 1789, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." I got the rifle on my back that my father used to own.
this gun is good for many things. I've learned to use it well. The founding fathers wrote your rights in stone. One day should our noble country ever go to hell, just remember, son, that tyrants are still made of flesh and bone. Just remember they are made of flesh and bone.
Now this boy became a man, and this man became aware of the enemies that threaten all his rights to keep and there. You can call them what you want, for they go by many names. It don't matter what you call them, 'cause I'll tell them all the same.
My gun is good for many things, I've learned to use it well. My founding fathers wrote my rights in stone. Oh, I've seen the way a bastard shot my country all to hell. Just remember that your parasites are made of flesh and bone. Just remember that you're made of flesh and bone. There's 100 million patriots and 300 million guns. I would like to see a coward try and take them one by one. There's that phrase that's etched upon the heart of men across the land: you will only take our rights away from all our cold dead hands. Our guns are good for many things, we've learned to use them well. Our founding fathers wrote our rights in stone. Oh, we've seen our noble country take a nosedive into hell. We outnumber you, you parasites, so best leave us alone. Oh, you tyrants are still made of flesh and bone. Oh, our guns are good for many things, we've learned to use them well. Our founding fathers wrote our rights in stone. Oh, the only way to heaven is the rocky road to hell. I just wonder how you tremble as you've seen our numbers grow. Oh, remember, you're still made of flesh and bone. Come and take it. I dare you.